She's why love's oh so dangerous. Just her sight makes it obvious. I know you really, really wanna say it so don't want, baby, don't wanna hear you fake it and then drive me crazy even when you're lazy. Don't fight this feeling, it's what we've needed lately. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Reckless, young, and too fast for love. Hide your heart and we'll make it up. I know you really, really wanna say it so go on, baby, don't wanna hear you fake it. And the truth hurts every road that the soul don't wanna go, but I gotta see what was in store. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from Where do we go from here? 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 My baby is lazy, 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 it's driving me crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, lack of aspiration is the call of the fall of our infatuation. Oh, now what can I do? Oh, I can't break through. She'd rather sit alone.
All right, what is going on, everyone out there in the internet world? I hope y'all are doing all right tonight. If you like the music, that's Nico's band. I think they're playing December the 8th. This coming up Friday or Saturday. If he's in the chat, he can correct me. But yeah, I appreciate him letting me play his music without YouTube getting pissy about it. So let me go up here through the chat. Mike Doug says, wow, I got in early and just hit the like button first, and 2 people beat me to it. Yeah, there were some people in here early tonight. Good to see you guys in here. That is fan dedication for sure. Let's see. John Burns says, I want Tampa for the Jackets Bowl, 3-hour drive and shorts. Yes, that would be nice. It's been a little chilly up here in Georgia. It was definitely chilly during the Georgia game. David says, Tampa sounds good for me, 8 hours away, but I'm going. Yeah, like I've said, I'm definitely not going to the Bronx. I know that for sure. Josh Pittman says, probably will be the Pinstripe Bowl, though. That is true. That's what I'm seeing. Probably Rutgers or Northwestern. That's an ACC Big Ten matchup. If you missed it, I was on Cdogg's channel. He was interviewing one of the Gold fellas, Jace, and he was saying Jace was saying he didn't feel like that was a great matchup, or not an interesting matchup, I guess. Which I kind of agree. In the video today, I said I thought of everything that I thought was possible. SMU, I kind of liked. In what is it, the Gasparilla? No, it's the Military Bowl in Annapolis, Maryland. PowerTech says happy Friday to everyone. Coffee Killer says we've made it to Friday. We have. It's conference championship week. I didn't think this through 100%. I guess the Pac-12 championship is on right now between Washington and Oregon. Let me go over to ESPN so I can get score updates on that. Look like it's Washington by a field goal at the moment. A lot of people, including myself, like Oregon in this just because I think it is difficult to beat the same team twice, especially when you're at the top of your conference. And the Pac-12 has been decent this year, for sure. Let me make sure it's not going to play. It's not going to blast me with some ads. That would be devastating. Mexico State losing to Liberty in their conference championship. Randall Scott says, hey, Rick, if you're into rock, I'd recommend Smash Into Pieces. They're a band out of Sweden. I dated a foreign exchange student from Sweden named Maria. She was quite nice. So, yeah, I'm partial to Sweden. I'll check them out. SMU would be a fun matchup for us, Coffee Killer says. Well, I'm still waiting on my 2 other hosts. So I guess you guys tell me what bowl you like. I know a lot of people were saying they like to play Auburn in the Gator Bowl. I think that's out of the picture. Rathor says Roll Tide, the hell with Georgia. Yeah, both of those teams are pointing fingers at each other. Like, no one believes in us. I don't really get where that's coming from. We need that Spider-Man meme. No one believes in us. No one believes in us. But yeah, Washington up by a field goal at the moment. We go to the game cast. Looks like Oregon about to get the ball. They're probably on a TV break. Anyways, how are you guys doing tonight? Tonight, we're going to be grading each position group, offense and defense, special teams, all the coaches, and I'm including our AD in that because I don't really know a better way to do it. Like, I don't know anything about the administration other than J Bat, and it would just be like the longest stream ever of things that I don't know well about. So I'm including J Bat in with the coaches because I do think it's important. We've definitely got to get that right. Financially, we know things are not the greatest at Tech right now. Oh, and there we go. We got our man in here, Tantor. Bring him in. What's going on, Tantor?
Just getting all the technology working the way it's supposed to.
Well, I've always said if the devil exists, it's somewhere in electronics. I'm certain of this.
Why it works one day and doesn't work the next when you didn't touch it, no clue.
Well, computers are the worst. Like I can remember, and I might have even told you this when I took like programming classes at Tech. The saying was, my code doesn't work. I have no idea why. My code does work. I have no idea why. We just kind of wing it and try and figure it out. But how are you doing, sir?
Doing excellent. I got the Oregon Washington game on in the background. Hoping for the under tonight, but that might be a mistake.
You're a little off center too, but there you go. Who do you like in the Pac-12 championship here? I know a lot of people like Oregon. I like Oregon just because I think it's hard to beat the same team twice.
I've watched both. Well, let's put it this way. Through Game 7, I thought Washington was the team to beat, but Washington seems to be on the decline, and not a lot either. And Oregon just seems to be playing better and better every game. They get better, and Oregon actually plays defense too. So I think Oregon has the better team, but this first drive that Washington put together was pretty good until they got down there at the end.
Had to settle for a field goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And field goals aren't going to beat Oregon. Well, okay, let's take this back. If you get into a field goal competition with Oregon, you're going to win. Anybody is. Because their kicker is atrocious.
Yeah, now I want Washington to win because that's the best scenario for Georgia to get left out should they fall to Alabama. We need as many undefeated teams in there as possible. And I talked with Cdogg, depending on what happens, like if Florida State beat Louisville, then you could basically have a bye for Georgia. They'd pick them, and you'd have Florida State without their starting quarterback. So we'll see kind of how things play out. I mean, we've got, Michigan, Washington undefeated, Georgia undefeated. Who else?
Florida State undefeated.
And Florida State. Then you got a one-loss Texas.
One loss Oregon. One loss Alabama. One loss Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State is not getting in, shy of Michigan dropping to Iowa.
They'd need a lot of help there. That's Cdogg.
You let yourself in. How presumptuous.
You shouldn't have given me these powers.
I gave him like administrative privileges. I'll never do that for anyone again.
I've been abusing my power for sure. I didn't realize it had been 30 minutes already. That went by fast.
All good.
My wife reminded me.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Cdogg. The WreckTalk channel thanks you.
The WreckTalk channel thanks you. The WreckTalk. Yes, you need to coordinate with my planner.
You're okay. Well, I said, look, we're grading each position group, offense and defense, special teams, and there was some controversy before the show because I was going to weight the special teams different. I wasn't going to give them the same weight as the offense and defense. And Cdogg said, all three phases, man. What are you talking about?
I said that's the wrong attitude. That's what gets you in this situation, this field position freaking fiasco.
Yep, it hurt us against Georgia for sure.
3 phases.
All right, so let's bring the rubric up. This is the rubric. Offense, defense, special teams, and coaches all get equal weights. And then for coaches, I'm grading the head coach heavier, 40%. I think that's fair. He makes most of your decisions. And then equal distribution between the OC, DC, and special teams coordinator at 13 and a third percent. Now, if you're a Georgia fan, disregard weights. That's too complicated for you. Just know that I do know how this works.
I had a Georgia fan on my site write me in on the comments section and said the score was 46-16.
Well, that's the best they could come up with.
What game was he watching?
That's what they.
What game were they watching?
That's what they thought the score should be if they weren't fighting the refs.
No, okay, yeah, it was definitely was the refs' fault.
Yeah, that was the ref adjusted score in their feeble minds. And then I've got the AD at 20%. Now I said before y'all came on, I'm lumping in the AD with coaches just because I do think it's important for our program, but I don't want to go over the whole administration because that would just be ridiculous and no one cares about any of that. So that's how it works. And
it would drag down the average.
yeah, because they'd all get zeros as far as it pertains to football. I mean, we talked to one of the gold fellas on Cdogg's channel, and they don't support it anymore. They used to give them free tickets. They used to sponsor them and everything, and they don't do that anymore. And I'm like, why? Why do you hate your football program? Like, I don't understand this. I would also pay for them to go to the bowl if they want to. Like, it's not that much money, I wouldn't think.
You know those guys, Tantor?
No.
The guys that paint their bodies up gold and wear the crazy wigs, and they paint themselves yellow and black, and they sit in the south end zone on the bleachers right at the end zone.
No, one of them, the guy that sits behind me, his son is a frat brother with one of them, and he came up, and I talked to one of the guys once.
Well, I'm not asking if you know him personally. I'm just saying.
You know, of
I
them.
know what you're talking about.
So yeah, they said after every single game, even after a loss, they post security there to make sure that those guys don't rush the field. And like at the UNC game, one of them like speared one of them. It's like, I don't know what their problem is. They hate fun, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so let me pull up. First, we'll do position groups. And look, I've got all this planned out, guys. You like how that just pops into place there. So we'll grade the offensive line, wide receivers, running back, quarterbacks, tight ends, defensive linemen, linebackers. And I know Tantor doesn't like it. I lump all the DBs in together.
Look, I'm just telling you, with the DBs, every position back there has a different responsibility. So it's really tough to grade those kids in a lump sum.
Yeah, with the cornerbacks and the well,
one of them transferred out. Number 10's transferred out. He's in the portal.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Keenan Johnson, I think.
Yep. Wish him the best. Good luck. I'm going to dump him for my Ram and never mention him again.
Well, Kenan Johnson, he at least he was a grad transfer, so he kind of fulfilled his obligation, to Tech and played until he graduated. So that one doesn't hurt my feelings as much. But yeah, losing Kennard sucks too.
Yeah.
We need help on the line. So I don't know. I'm gonna be mad if he winds up at Ole Miss.
Like the rest of them?
Yeah, every other one. Well, just to recap, the last time we did this, we rated the offensive line as a 78. I have a feeling that score will increase tonight. Wide receivers at an 87. I have a feeling that might decrease tonight. Running backs at a 77, quarterbacks at an 85, and our tight ends at a 71. We rated the defensive line at the midterms at a 68, DBs at a 55, linebackers at a 34, and special teams at a 52. So we had a 78 average for offense and a 52 average for our defense and special teams. We rated Key at an 80, Buster at a 77, and we had just demoted the previous 2 weeks beforehand. Thacker, we just averaged them at a 45. We had the special teams at a 35 and our AD at a 87. So that gives us a 65 for our coaching staff at midterms and the team a 62. So we'll see how that changes in the finals week here. Let's talk about the offensive line, and I'll let you go first, Tantor. What do you think about this offensive line this year?
Man, and I've said it at my own channel, I've been most pleased with the progression of the offensive line of any position group that they have. Because the offensive line last year, they were horrible. And they just kept on getting better and better. This year, they had a real poor start against Louisville. And they've gotten better every week. So I think at the end of the year, they're playing solid B-plus football. So if we're just looking at them at how they finished the year, I thought they finished the year playing excellent. I gave them an 85 because they started out, D plus, C minus, but they've worked their butts off and they've improved every single week.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Cdogg.
I give them probably give them a 90.
Ooh.
I mean they're playing up there with the big boys. I mean they're playing up there with They pushed around Georgia's D line like they were a bunch of middle schoolers. As much as they hate to admit it, that's what occurred on that football field.
No, the refs
So-
did all that, dude. Do you
Yeah.
read the comment section? It was
Yeah.
all refs.
Oh yeah, so yeah, dude, I'm high on that O line. Love those guys. Great freaking job that they've done this year. Definitely,
Yeah, at the
Probably-
end of the year, fantastic.
probably overall, might be the best position group on the field for us.
How it ended, I can't argue that at all.
Yeah.
From how it ended.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what both of you said. This has to be the most improved position group in all of college football. I mean, from last year to this year, the job Jeep Wade has done, I think, has been phenomenal, and just the offense in general with them. We talked about it on your show, number one rush offense in the conference, number 2 overall offense in the conference, number 16 in the country rush offense. And a lot of that has to do with this offensive line. We had a true freshman All-American in this group. In McKinney, Tech actually has 2. Only team in the country that has 2 freshman All-Americans. Now, that's good and bad. It's good that they played their butts off. It's not so great that you're having to play true freshmen, but this is where we are. I would give them an 88. I think they've played really close to A- football. They're young. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. I think King has been sacked the least amount in ACC games this year. So kudos to them. That will give us, and I even have a little Excel sheet here because we have technology, so I don't even have to calculate it. I let Excel do that for me. That gives our average an 88 for the offensive line. What did I have them at before? So a full letter grade, a full 10 points better than what we
But
graded them.
they've gotten that much better over the course. And Buster's helped them out too. Buster has started calling games, giving them assignments that they can do, and they do well. And that's
And look how that's
why my OC got a better grade this time than last time.
And look how that's paved the way for our run game.
Yes.
You know, I mean, our run game is we have a great run game.
And it also made a big difference that you got number 4 back in there running.
Yeah, he showed up. He showed up inexplicably in the North Carolina game and balled out the rest of the way. I mean, that was, I guess he got off injury or whatever. I thought he was buried in the depth chart.
I mean, that's been the question of the year, quite frankly, is what happened to Smith?
I
Was
know
he
for
hurt?
a fact he got hurt in the beginning of the season. But
And that's what I was thinking, but nobody ever said anything.
he was back and then still wasn't playing, so that was what was weird.
Mhm.
Maybe he just was taking a while to get back to 100%.
Yeah, that was weird. And then equally as weird as Cooley just was gone.
He fumbled. He fumbled 2 games in a row.
Right.
You think that was it? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't put the ball in the dirt. You do that, you're going to find the bench.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, well, let's talk about wide receivers. Tantor, what do you think about this wide receiver core?
Well, last time I think I gave them like a 90 or 95 or something like that. I was looking for my grades, but I can't find them. But this time, they got a bad case of the drops
Yes.
at the end of the season. And I think they really hurt the team. I think they hurt the team against Clemson, and I think they hurt the team against UGA. And I'd say that wide receivers are an 85.
85, okay.
I mean, they're a solid B. They're a good group. It's not like they don't have talent, but they needed to have led the team. Those cats need to be a 98 or 99. They need to be close to perfect to lead this team, and they're not.
Okay. Cdogg.
I was disappointed in the receivers. I thought that they would, like I said, coming into the year, I thought that they would really take charge of the team and I thought they would be the best position group on the team. And a lot of times you just see, I guess they're not covered or whatever it is, because Haynes King he'll have all day and he'll be looking around and nobody's covered, and we'll get a coverage sack, or if he finally decides to take off. But yeah, they're just, and I feel like like you said, there was a lot of drops, And then I feel like Avery Boyd is being misused somewhat.
Mhm.
I feel like he has a lot of potential that we just haven't been able to figure out what to do with. Kind of frustrating. So I give the receivers like oh my God. I'm watching this Oregon-Washington game.
Wow.
Washington's up 10-0. That's pretty crazy. But I probably give them. I give them like an 80. I give them like a 79.
You give them a 79.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I wrote my grades down before this, so you don't think I'm copying Tantor. I give them an 85. I think they probably played like a 78 the last half of the season, and, it's like well better than that in the beginning. Our passing game really dropped off after midseason. We were definitely led by our run offense. We're probably averaged in the last half of the season around 200 yards a game or less. I think to Haynes King's credit, he did feel he had to force some balls to certain receivers because we were dropping them. So some of that's due a credit to that too. But we do have a true freshman All-American. Singleton had a pretty good game against Georgia after not having a case of the drops for 3 games. I give him an 85 too. So that's an 85 for Tantor and me and a 79 for Cdogg. That grades him out at an 83 even. So we'll update our grade there. There's an 83 for them. We were talking about it a little bit before, the running back room. What do you think about the running backs, Tantor?
Well, at the beginning of the season, they didn't do much, and the running game was really anemic. But as we saw, as the offensive line got better, the running game got better. We had Haynes King run the ball a little bit more, and then when they reintroduced number 4, the running game took off. And that just made Jamal Haynes even better.
Yes.
So, the first half of the season, I think I gave the running backs a 70 or 75. I think the running backs now are right there with the offensive line. I think they're an 85. And then they were a force out of the backfield catching the ball too. Unfortunately, Jamal Haynes dropped a big pass against UGA, but besides that, they were catching the ball in the backfield pretty well.
All right, Cdogg.
Now remember, this is the number 1 rushing attack in the ACC.
This is true.
No. I'm thinking somewhere in the range of 85 to 90 is where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go in the middle somewhere. Something I really wish is like short yardage with these guys.
We need it, and I agree with you right there. If I had a weakness, we need a big back.
Yeah.
We need a big back. Even if Pyron came in there and lined up as a fullback or something, because that cat is huge.
Yes.
I can't think of a single time this year where we freaking lined up and got a 4th and 1 or something.
We didn't.
We would always throw it to the tight end or something.
Yeah, we didn't. Or what game was it that Haynes King fell down? Was that Boston College where he fell? 4th and 1?
We did it against Bowling Green where we hurried up real quick.
I've completely rejected Bowling Green from my memory.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up.
That brings back PTSD. I'll be calling my psychiatrist after this.
We all have our own ways of coping.
God. That mess can never happen again, period.
I know. At least it happened to Auburn, too. That's why I was saying we're perfect for each other. We need to play them in a bowl. But did I get my grade yet? I'm going to say 87.
87.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm the lowest on here. I've got them at an 83. I know that they're, this is the leading rushing attack in the ACC. But aside from Florida State and Louisville, I'm trying to think of some really, really good offenses in the ACC. North Carolina has a decent offense, but they're garbage. I'll never say anything good about them either. I thought
Clemson's got a big-time running back.
Clemson, they've got 2, Shipley and Maffa.
Yep.
I just think that the offensive line really sprung them a lot, and I think there's a lot of potential in this group. Right now I have them in 83. I could see them being a 90 next season. And especially what can be nasty is what we saw against Georgia is Haynes King in conjunction with that jet sweep wide receiver motion and handing the ball off can be really, really good. I've got him at an 83.
Yeah, it's an incomplete group. I feel like I've been saying this. I miss Jordan Mason. He was
Dude, we all missed Jordan Mason. He was a beast.
The him and Gibbs were just incredible. You had the big guy and you had the weapon, you know.
And they're both getting paychecks to go out on Sundays too.
Yep.
That was that was awesome. If we could get Coach Choice back, I would love that.
That would be very, very nice.
Yeah, I would love to see Coach Choice come back.
He was he's probably the reason we got Gibbs. I mean, he's a hell of a recruiter, I think, for you too. Mm-hmm. But that gets our average to an 85. I think that's about right. This is the one group I think next year I could really see take off. I mean, I think our whole offense could take off. But anyways, all right, let's talk about the quarterbacks. What we have quarterbacks at last year. Or during the midseason. We had them at an 85. Tantor, what do you think about the quarterback play?
Well, this is where people are going to get on me for being a Haynes King hater, and I'm not. I know. I'm not a Haynes King hater. I have defended the guy. I think he's the best quarterback we've had on campus since George Godsey, and I love the guy. However, bad Haynes King is
it's unwatchable.
Real. Yes, exactly. Thank you. You are completely correct. And him staring down receivers, and against Georgia, I'm sitting there screaming, throw it to effing Leary, dude. Throw it to I mean, he would stare down triple covered Singleton.
Yeah.
And it's Leary ran a combo route underneath drag. Georgia never picked him up. He was the only guy on that side of the field.
I know exactly what the play you're talking about. And it was like third down.
Yes. It's like, dude, I'm like, he's there. He's right there. Right. Throw him, please. Right. So he throws it into triple coverage and has it incomplete. Yeah. You know, it's just crap like that I don't like. Mm-hmm. But I keep making excuses for him. He is only a redshirt sophomore. First year in this offense. He's learning. He'll be better next year, and he'll be better the following year. No doubt.
No.
And I think he's got big-time NFL arm talent. He can run. He's athletic. I have no problem with him except for stop freaking staring down your receivers and please see the field better. But I give him an 80.
All right.
Because when he's bad, oh, good God, he's bad.
All right, Cdogg.
I don't know. I agree with everything Tantor said. I am a huge Haynes King fan as well. Those turnovers have got to come down, and a lot of times, like I feel like his decision making regressed throughout the season. Like, dude, during the beginning of the season, he was like unstoppable. Throughout the first 4 games, he played incredible. And then, you know, he had a few bad games. Then he had 2 good games against North Carolina and Virginia. And then finished out the season okay. He did okay in the Georgia game and Syracuse game. Enough to win, like not enough to lose. But, you know, it's kind of been – he's gone from really good to really – bad to okay, kind of okay to finish the season. So yeah, I probably give him an 80 as well. I agree too. I don't think that's that hot of a take. I think everybody can pretty much agree. He's very talented, has a lot of potential, needs to develop a little more. And I've been saying like he's got to cut his turnovers in half next year, and that's the difference between winning like 2 more games.
Yeah, I can't disagree with much of that. I'm higher on King than either one of you. I've got him at an 85. And the reason for that is a big part is his running ability. If he wasn't as mobile as he was, we would not be making a bowl right now. That's what really opened us up to winning some games in the latter half of the season. In the beginning of the season, you're right, he was seeing the whole field. I can remember against Louisville, he hit Rutherford coming across the field about 25 yards deep and really saw the field well. We've seen flashes of that, not enough. 15 turnovers is tough, and 85 is probably a high grade with having 15 turnovers. I'm just that impressed with his running ability and I guess how he played in the beginning of the season. But that'll bring our quarterback average to an 82. All right, tight ends. Been the bane of our existence for a while. Interesting at times this year, heartbreaking at others. Tantor, what do you got the tight ends at?
You just said it all right there. We had that Georgia kid comes in, number 80, and tears it up for a game, and then he goes on a milk carton, and we don't see him again for the rest of the season. They put in a senior against UGA on a big third down, and he drops a pass that would have given us a first down to keep the drive alive. Oh. Get a run, and there's a holding call on the tight end on the out, get him the corner. It's just up and down. It's either, yay, great play, or good God, dude, just put in another wide receiver. So even though, I'm head of the number 2 fan club and hope the guy gets an opportunity on Sundays, but this tight end room, just the best I can do is give him a 50.
Wow. All right.
I mean,
Dang.
I love the guys, but you got to produce. You got to help your quarterback out. If it's third down, it's 3rd and 8, and you run a 5-yard in, what the hell are you doing?
Right. No, I agree.
And then you run the right pattern, and you drop the pass, you just let your whole team down. Yeah, I mean, and that crap happened all the time. And then what happened to 80? I mean, the dude
Benson.
It just makes no sense. So they were very incomplete. I mean, what did we use this year? We used 4 guys.
Yeah, Leonard, Benson, Seether.
Yeah, and wasn't there one more?
I can't think of one, probably.
Okay. All right, so we used 3. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
So it was unsuccessful.
There's
So
like Billy Ward, but I don't think he played.
I never saw him out in the field.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I don't think he played.
it was an unsuccessful situation that we had this year at tight end, and unfortunately, it just didn't work. Sorry, and 50 is the best I can give them.
All right. Cdogg.
Dang, I disagree. I think they're I'm sorry, my camera's cut out. I got to figure out what's wrong with it. But I think that I'd probably give them about a 70 in my opinion, because they don't really produce with the pass catching, but I do, they are helpful in the blocking game, which it makes me happier to see that. It felt like last year we tried to force it to them, to throw into them more, and they would always drop it,
Yeah.
And it seems like this year they've used them better, and they're not trying to make them. They're putting them in higher percentage positions, to catch the ball, so that when they do, they do have the occasional drop, because I mean, these guys, our tight ends have feet for hands a lot of the times.
I can't disagree with that at all.
They're not the best tight end unit. They've got a long way to go, but I feel like we've played to their strengths, and and I do like the blocking that they've given us. So I'm a little higher on them than that.
All right. Well, somehow again, I'm the highest on this group. I think when we look at tight ends, because of the way college football is today, you really only think about the passing game and their catching ability, their route running ability. And a lot of times we disregard the run blocking, which is number one in the conference right now. I think they've
you're 100% correct. And their trap blocking was excellent.
Yeah, so I think they've done well there. Brett Seether was very effective catching the ball. I don't know what it is now. At one point, he was like 7 receptions with 4 touchdowns, caught a really good wheel route against North Carolina, and found his way to the sideline. We don't beat North Carolina without Seether. No matter what we grade them, I know that they are leaps and bounds better than we've had in 15 years or so. I'm going to give them – we rated them at a 71 the last time, and I'm sticking to that. I'll give them a 71. I don't think they're great by any means. What do the kids say? I think it's mid. I think it's been mid this year. So.
It's mid. Yeah, I mean, the pass catching definitely drags them down. I mean, that's the difference between a tight end and just a lineman, Right. You're supposed to be able to catch too. And there's not really a huge threat of us, killing somebody with a tight end. So it's kind of a non-factor. Having the extra blocker is nice a lot of the times, but you got to be able to catch too. So that does drag them down too.
All right, that puts them at a 64. So let me update that. Where are we at here? Tight end. We graded them at a 64, and that gives our offensive grade an 80.2. So an 80. On offense, which is probably fair. All right, let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Maybe we should have started with that so we could have ended the position ratings on a higher note. That's on me. Talk about this defensive line, Tantor. I know you're really high on them.
Are you sarcastic?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, I do like Biggers.
Yes.
I do like Biggers. I thought that he was by far the best D lineman we had. Unfortunately, the coaches wouldn't let him play 3 downs in a row. So that was a big problem. And when he got tired, he did like to stand up and get beat. So, and he has no pass rushing move whatsoever, but it's not like they ever really gave him an opportunity. But he could eat up space in the middle. But he's by far the best. I thought the guys played hard. I thought they worked hard. I thought they put forth the effort. I just didn't think they were successful. And for the most part, they're young guys. So I don't want to crap all over them, but I can't sit here and say that they did great and they had a passing grade or anything else because they didn't. And their main role in this defense and this 2-gap scheme that they played was to eat up blockers. And they did do that for the most part. So, I can't give them a passing grade. I just can't.
Yeah.
But I will say that they're right below that. They're 65.
All right, giving them a 65.
We need to improve in that area, that's for sure.
All right, Cdogg, talk about this defensive line.
Yeah, the D-line, obviously, not much of a pass rush. Probably, besides linebackers, the weakest, unit on our team. So, I give them like maybe a 60. I give them like a 60. I don't.
Thanks for making me feel good, Cdogg, because I thought I was really coming down hard on the D-line. So I appreciate that.
No, I don't know. I feel like my grades tend to be harder. Now, if Coach Key heard the way we talked about Haynes King tonight, he wouldn't be too happy about us. But they're very protective of him.
Other people making mistakes out there.
He needs to be protective of his players, and I appreciate that from Coach Key. My last video, I said that he showed he was a class act by going out on the field before the game with all the seniors and everything. And I think he's a class act, and I really do think he does a good job protecting his players because that's his job. His job is to protect his players from assholes like me.
All of us on the panel. Yeah, for sure.
No. So I don't mind if if he wants to comment on the section and call me a stupid SOB that doesn't know what I'm talking about, absolutely. Coach King should be able to do that, and he should do it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely shouldn't agree with us. Yeah, he does kind of suck ass.
Yeah,
that would not work.
Right. So I think he should. I think he should come out and defend his players completely. I mean, you want him to be a guy that his kids want to play for.
Yeah.
And they want to play hard and leave it all out on the field.
They do.
That's who you want.
They do. Like you said, they put forth the effort. It's just that they're not successful a lot of the time. But recruiting is something we can talk about too. But I think we're moving towards that being not as much of an issue.
Yeah, we can talk about that when we rate the coaches. Yeah. I'm actually lower on this than either one of you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be pretty brutal on the defense throughout these ratings because when you have the 132nd ranked rush defense, we have to have the least number of sacks in the ACC or close to it. We could not pressure the quarterback hardly at all this year, minus maybe Wake Forest. We did okay, North Carolina. Now we had Yontuin go down in injuries, but I got to grade who I saw on the field. When you're the 120th ranked total defense, to me, I've got to be as honest as I can. Buzz Talk with the $5 super chat says we had a top 3 worst rush D in the country. With that, our D-line and LB should be no higher than a 40. I don't have them that low. I've got them at a 55. When you can't get pressure or stop the run, I can't even give you a 60. I give them a 55. So that brings our average to a 60. So we got the defensive line at a 60. I think between the three of us, we probably averaged out somewhere close to where they are. And it's not going to get any better, folks. Tantor's favorite group of all time, the linebackers. Tantor, tell us about the linebacker play and why is it so great? So you can really take as long as you need.
I'm trying not to be completely brutal here. I really am. All right, that was the positives of the linebackers. So now I can move to the negative. 13 is the worst linebacker I've ever seen play. And yes, in the history of football. I said that I would move him to fullback because, he avoids contact really, really well.
That's awesome.
And runs away from defensive players. Great. So I think he should be a running back.
That's brutal.
He's around the ball and he likes to jump on it at the end. He did make 2 plays there that were really big in the season against Miami. Mm-hmm. And then he had another fumble against
Georgia.
Forced
fumble.
And I just think that's, stop clock being right twice a day.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what the coach is seeing the guy. I don't know why he's on the field. It's like playing with 10 players out there.
Yeah.
And we've done that before too, quite frankly. Literally.
Against Bowling Green.
Yes.
We did it twice.
Yeah, we're giving them that advantage. Coaches got confused and thought it was hockey, and we had 5 minutes for fighting. Look, I like Eford, and I gave him a grade. And the grade that I gave him is based on one guy, Eford. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's a 0. Linebackers for this season is a 0. Mm-hmm. But because Eford, when he was in there, the dude played his ass off. Mm-hmm. Now, he might have made mistakes, and he's slow. We saw against UGA that when they ran a sweep, he's 3 steps slower than their running backs. And I looked at that and went, oh, hell. He's a Mike at best, but you can't put him out in space. He definitely can't play wheel, and he can't cover a tight end. So he can't play Sam. He's going to have a hard time against good teams. But he at least will come in and deliver a blow and fill a hole, and he'll play in the other team's backfield. And he won the freaking UNC game with a big-time interception.
Yep.
So, you know what? I gave the linebackers a 30, and I feel I'm being very generous with that 30. And it's all on Eford. I think that they were Tatum, number 7. He's really an inside the box safety. Calling him a linebacker is obscene. 3 and 4, when they did get opportunities to play, they did okay. But at times they seem to be confused out there and sometimes run into each other, and it was a mess. That position group was horrible. So they rewarded the coach of the linebackers and made him defensive coordinator. And that makes sense in this topsy-turvy, bizarro world that we live in today.
Oh, man.
Well, what? So we gave him a 34 when we graded him the last time. What do you got him at as of now?
I gave him 30 on this one. And that's all because of Eford. If it wasn't for him, it's a 0.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're right.
Cdogg.
I agree. I agree. I think around 35. Eford definitely dragging up the average there for sure. I'd probably say about 35. I pretty much agree with everything Tantor said. Complete travesty at linebacker, which is a far cry from what we're kind of used to, unfortunately. But,
exactly.
So you really hate to see that, but
I've been looking through the transfer portal at linebackers leaving schools going, we could take that guy, and we could take that guy. I know who that guy is. Let's take that guy.
Yeah. I mean, it can't get much worse.
I don't see how.
Yeah.
All right. So you had him at a 35. Buzz Talk with the $5 super chat says, just to be sure, our scale is 0 to 100. Yes. Just like you would get a grade at school. On paper, our DL LBs are 5 to 10. On field, maybe 25 to 30. DBs on paper of 40. On the field, 60 to 70. Trash. Like Oscar the Grouch. Didn't he live in a trash can? Is that who we got at linebacker, Oscar the Grouch? I'm actually higher on our linebackers than either one of you. I keep moving, around here. I'll start with the negatives. I agree. When I saw Mola's Twitter is full of Notre Dame stuff, that really pissed me off. I didn't like that. I don't know where.
Yeah, they sure wanted him.
Yeah. I don't know what's greater, his number of solo tackles for the season or the number he wears on his jersey. It's not been good. I mean, I've seen Mola at times. Boston College, when that quarterback, it was like 4th and 1 and he ran it 30 yards. He's literally got his head in the ass crack of a guy in front of him. When the quarterback's 20 yards behind him, he has no idea where the football is. He has no idea how bad it is out there. No idea. Bear Stearns is going down. I've never seen anything like it. He not only is the worst linebacker I've ever seen.
Remember South Carolina State when their quarterback ran over him?
Yeah. I mean, it's something else. Not only is he the worst linebacker I've seen, he's the worst player at any position I think I've seen on the flats.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of someone who I was lower on than Mola. And he was
Luke Benson last year was pretty bad. He's improved a little bit this year, but last year Luke Benson was
they're probably
I was
roommates.
Like, my God.
They must be roommates.
I was like, dude.
No, you might be onto something there.
Who's worse at their respective position of your whole
Last
time?
year, now Luke Benson is better this year at tight end than Mola is. But last year, Luke Benson would literally go in and be a net negative to the team. Like, he would miss blocks.
False start, hold.
Maybe
drop
Shanahan
passes.
last year. How many punts did he get blocked?
Well, that was a.
You could make the excuse that wasn't 100% on him. I mean, he did. I could watch, all the Matrix movies in the time it took him to get a punt off, but he also didn't have great protection.
Well, the special teams coach was a brilliant genius there.
Oh, Jeff Collins, yeah. Now we'll talk about the positives. Effort, obviously. I think is a good player. Athletically, he might be lacking in some areas, but what you can't say is he's not pursuing the ball. Number one, he's aware of where the ball is, which is a far cry above where
True.
Mola
He's got his
is.
head up and he's looking. He's got his head up and he's following the ball. That's true, and that's more than what we can say about 13.
Yeah, he looks like he's lost a contact most of the time that come out of his eye. Effort
13 looks for somebody to block him.
right here, come over here.
He runs up and grabs a guy and says, "I'm blocked." So he looks good on film. Then lets go of the guy and jumps on the pile at the end, so he gets credit for it at the end and
assist. Yeah.
Yeah. Pile jumpers.
Effort was really good. You brought up the interception he had that sealed the North Carolina game. I tell you who we haven't talked about that I have been impressed with is Oliver. Oliver, when he met the running back, put him on his back. He had some really good games. He played well against Syracuse.
Yeah, but for all 4 plays that they put him in.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't know why he didn't start this year. I don't know why.
I would have been starting 44 and 4. That's the 2 best, and I would have went with I would have had Tatum out there as a strong safety, and I would have walked him down in the box, and he would have been over my tight end.
You don't think he could have played the nickel?
No, I don't think he's fast enough to cover anybody,
Okay.
and I think that's probably why they moved him to linebacker. But when he's out there in space, you take a look at Tatum. Go back and look at his tackles, and it's pretty easy because he had like 10 all season. But when he made them, he was out in space, and when he's out in space and not having to deal with a guard blocking him or a tackle taking him on or something like that, the kid can play.
Yeah.
But he's so misfit into that linebacker spot that he can't come up and take on a blocker from the lineman, shed the block, and get in a hole and make a tackle. Tatum can't do that. As soon as he gets hit by a lineman, he's knocked 7-8 yards down the field, and he's done.
Yeah. Damn.
But out in space, he'll come up, he'll come past the line of scrimmage, he'll make a play out in space. So he's just mistyped in the position that he's in. He's a defender, but he's an inside-the-box safety. He should be rotating with Powell Lee out there. And that's my opinion. But I think him and Powell Lee are the same player.
I can't disagree with that. But for the reasons I liked Oliver for when he was out there, Tatum when he was used right in effort, I give him a 45 at linebacker. So that doesn't do much for me pulling up our average. That gives us an average of a 37. So they're 3 points better somehow than they were when we graded them at the midterms, but most of that is on me. Let's talk about the defensive backs, and I guess we can average cornerback play in our minds and safety play, nickel play, and this, that, and the other. Go ahead, Tantor.
Well, there's so big a difference in the players. I mean, we basically used 4 cornerbacks outside this year. We used 0, 18, 17, and 10. All right. Well, what we saw against Georgia, we saw us do a lot of man, and 0 is a 0 in man defense.
Okay.
He got beat one time so bad for a touchdown. They pulled him off, and he never got back on the field. But 17 and 18 can play man and zone. 17's really good in man too. Even though he got beat a couple times, he needs to turn his head and get on the ball. But he's right there with the wide receiver, gets his hand in. He plays the man, not the ball. And he's got to have quicker hands to knock the ball out a little bit better. But when they're playing man, the outside guys look a whole lot better. And 10 can even play man defense. But when they play that stupid-ass zone defense that they play, they're playing soft, they're laying off. They don't recognize the play that's coming. They don't break on the ball before it gets there. I mean, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But 18, he makes plays all over. And then when you take a look at your slot guys, well, 14 is a nationally ranked player. I mean, he's a top 10. Well, they rank him as a safety, but really he's a slot. But he's a top 10 player in the country. When you look at guys, he's had 4 interceptions, 50-plus tackles. I mean, when I was voting, I looked at the guy's numbers like, holy shit, I can't believe King is out there ranked with everybody in the top. And then I
Yeah.
started watching his plays and stuff and watching his highlight reel and went, damn, he's had a good season. You can't tell it by playing in our defense, but he actually had a good season. So, he pops guys up a little bit. I like how Powell Lee comes down and makes tackles in the run game, but against the pass, Powell Lee's a detriment. And then, number one, he's like a flip of the coin. He's either awesome or he's horrible.
Yeah.
I think the thing with him this year is that he was like injured. I think he had a concussion or something, and they didn't like say it because he was not himself.
He didn't play like himself a couple times. So
yeah,
it's really, what I said about Haynes King? When he's great, he's great.
Yeah.
And when he's bad, he's unwatchable.
Yeah.
That's the same thing about our defensive backs.
yeah,
And I think, number one, it's not all their fault because their coaching was god-awful.
yeah,
They were in a bad defensive game plan.
yeah.
Whoever told a guy to play soft zone 15 yards off a wide receiver, I have no clue why he was coached that way. But he played 15 yards off of the wide receiver the whole season when he was out there. And nobody can make a play 15 yards off a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Not if he runs a short route.
Not if he runs any route. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they got very good coaching. They had a horrible game plan. Unfortunately, they're getting penalized for it. So, I gave them a 50 because, quite frankly, Clemson's still throwing touchdown passes on us. Ole Miss is still throwing touchdown passes on us. They couldn't tackle. Louisville just broke another tackle on us.
Yeah.
The defense lost us these games this year, and the defensive backs, a lot of it was their fault. And I can't forgive them for it. It's like my girlfriend that was a prostitute. I can't get pissed off at her that she's sleep with other guys. She's a freaking prostitute. Well, these guys, hell, they suck.
Was her name Charlene? Because we might need to talk after the show. Go ahead.
It's like, I was down there at Tech and all those girls that used to work over off of North Avenue at that dance club, you can't get mad at them for taking their clothes off in front of guys, right?
No.
That's their job. But anyway, the defensive backs, I give them a 50, but I don't think it's their fault.
All right. 50.
I think there's guys with talent. Just watch 17 warm up before the game, catching punts. The dude's got Spider-Man hands. I mean, he's one-handed, behind the head, punts and everything else. I'd like to see him as wide receiver and see what he can do.
Interesting. Cdogg.
I don't know. I tend to think that they would probably play a lot better if they just had some help up front, I mean,
you're right about that. If there was it's almost impossible to cover a wide receiver for 8 or 9 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So, I tend to be a little easier on them. I think I would probably give them a 65.
Ooh.
65.
Okay.
I just wish one of them could tackle.
Yeah.
Besides Powell Lee.
Well, I will say it wasn't as much of a plague at the end of the year as it was. They did improve that and get it cleaned up somewhat. So it wasn't as egregious and bad as it was in the beginning of the year. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, definitely a lot of room for improvement. But like I said, I think that you get no pass rush, and like you said, you can't cover somebody for that long. So I tend to be a little easier on them for that. And I know that it's the same players from last year. I know they're not terrible. I know that they can play good. So
yeah,
I tend to be a little easier on them, but that's just me.
All right, 65 for Cdogg. What's going on, BVD? Washington boat racing the quack right now. Yeah, 70-3, I think.
Yeah.
Good for us. I wanted Washington to win.
I did too. I did want Washington to win too. Yeah. That is
But yep. I tend to agree with Cdogg I think as far as Powell Lee struggling in coverage at times, I think that's because he knew he was having to make up for what Mola wasn't going to do.
Yeah.
He was one of our most effective linebackers this year.
He was. That dude, at 185 pounds, coming up and filling holes at the line of scrimmage, running from 15 yards back and coming up and filling a hole. Mola's sitting there dancing with a guard, and you see Powell Lee fly up through there and take on a guy that weighs 40 pounds more than him in a hole.
Yeah, and Powell Lee is a big guy.
I got all the respect in the world for that kid.
Yeah, Powell Lee, his father played here. We talked about it when we were talking with Jace. When they do the pregame hype, I don't know if you noticed this, Tantor, they'll show his dad returning a kick against Georgia when he played, and then they'll cut right to Powell Lee making a play, which is kind of cool.
I didn't connect the dots on that.
Yeah, that was his dad. But, I think he would be far more effective in coverage if he was able to trust his linebackers. Like, he wasn't going to have to fill a hole for him. Miles Sims has been beat up this year. Lamiles Brooks has been beat up this year. I mean, there's been times where he's been in the fetal position just holding a guy's leg, and that's worlds different than he played last year. I agree with you, Cdogg. When you can't get a pass rush going, it's just hard to cover a guy for as long as they were having to cover him. Though, to be fair, even when we were able to get a pass rush at times, there was wide open guys down the field. It's really hard to judge this defensive back group, really the entire defense, because I think you're right, Tantor. I don't think we coached them very well. I think we had some pretty horrible game plans. I don't know. It's hard to say how much of it is that. I do think a good bit of it is that, and just losing Ely, White, and Thomas was a detriment to us, along with losing some people to injuries. I have them at a 65 too, though, for those reasons. That'll bring our average for them to a 60. What did we have them midterm? We had them at a 55, so they're 5 points better.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fair. All right. I said it wasn't getting any better. This is kind of, to me, really difficult to judge, too, is the special teams. Tantor, what do you think about the special teams?
They were god-awful. Now, in all honesty, I should give them a whole lot more credit because Burr had an excellent season kicking this year.
Yep.
He really did. So I wrote down 25 mostly because of punt coverage and kick coverage. Why we can't kick a ball out of the end zone, why we're giving the opponent on a kickoff the ball at our 45 on average, because we can't cover, we can't kick the ball out of the end zone. I mean, shit, what is our problem?
Yeah.
That is horrible. But Burr had an excellent season kicking, and I'm not giving him enough credit for that because he did. I think we only had one kick blocked all season, right?
Yeah, well, we snapped it into a guy's face mask, if you call that a block.
That was punt.
Oh, you're talking about field goal or extra point?
Yeah, I think we had one blocked.
Yeah.
Was it. So, in all honesty, I should be grading them like at a 70 or 75. But, again, I'm an old man. I'm just an old fart. And I've never seen a ball get snapped into a guy's face mask, ever.
Yeah.
All right? There's just things that happen. I mean, at the end of the year, literally, the other team was getting kickoffs at our 40 and 45-yard line. So we should have just went onside kick every single time because they were just going to return it down our freaking throats anyway.
Yeah.
And punts too. So we couldn't cover anything. It was horrible. They did change the way Shanahan punts. They forced him they got him down to 3 steps instead of 7 and 8. And granted, he had no idea where the ball was going, but they made some improvements. I gave him a 25 just because, God, it's just bad. But they did make some changes. Burr played well. He kicked well. So I'm really penalizing them on that. But they should get a higher grade. Yeah, but I'm sticking with the 25. It's just that I just can't stand it. There's no reason to have shitty special teams. No,
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Cdogg?
I did. Yeah. I mean, I was telling you like before the show, like I can't stand it, man. It is unbelievable. We went out, we hired this freaking special teams coach, fix the damn special teams. You did it's better than last year. It's not good enough. Fix it. It's a freaking travesty, dude. We cannot have this like it just should be the most basic fundamental thing that you do. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I give them a 25 too. It's better. Like if that's from up year from like a 0 last year, like it's better, but it's not near good enough. You're getting killed in the not. I mean, people think of special teams. They think of like field goal kicking, and that's it. Okay, we're okay at field goal kicking. We're good. We're fine. Even we're good. Even at field goal kicking. That's about it. We can't cover a punt. We can't freaking kick it out the back of the end zone. We give up. I mean, we can't cover any of these things. Like we give up these huge returns. We never return it ourselves, and we get killed in the field position, and that matters. It mattered big time in the Georgia game. They were running.
It mattered against Syracuse.
Yeah,
Syracuse damn near beat us because of big time punt returns and kickoff returns.
Yeah, it's a good thing they suck. Or else, they would have freaking beat us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more than just field goal kicking, and it's not good enough. It's not even close to being good enough. And it makes me mad that we haven't fixed it. We need to fix it.
By the way, I don't know if I said that would give our defense a 52, which is probably about right.
Yeah.
It is ranked what, 132nd in the nation?
Well, it's 120 something total. The run defense is 132. So I forget the one team that's worse at defending the rush than us. But
well, I think that's definitely an F.
Yeah. It's not. It ain't good. Yeah.
Is it not Colorado that's worse than us?
It might be. It's Colorado or Stanford.
That's a freaking tragedy. Maybe now that I'm thinking about it, we probably were too easy on them, but it is what it is.
I'm way higher on the special teams than you, and that doesn't mean I'm high on them. I just think we're playing with half of a special teams unit. You're right. We were able to hit some field goals that really mattered. Barra had a really good season kicking field goals. We had half of a season of kicking it into the end zone or so, or a quarter of it. I don't know what happened where we, like, against Louisville, I don't think they returned a single kickoff.
I don't think so either.
So I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if there was some injury. I have no idea what happened with not being able to kick it into the end zone. Punt return, we didn't get many that we returned, you're right. But we were at least able to fair catch it, and that's way better than last year. Blaylock is probably the most sure-handed guy we got. He's been decent. But I don't know.
Kelly Rhino has a kid. Get some Rhino out there to be our punt returner.
Yeah, that just catches it and goes straight north and south. And I'll tell you, us not returning punts was a coaching decision. There were times where we got the punt with like 7 to 10 yards of space, and we just fair caught it anyways, which tells me we're kind of scared that we're going to fumble or something.
Speaking of that coaching decision, and this will affect my head coach, sure. Why do we always elect to receive? It drives me insane. Why?
Oh, we don't ever defer?
We never defer, ever. It's like every game, it's like, oh, well, we're getting
against
the ball.
UGA, I wanted us to receive.
I get it against UGA.
I wanted to score and keep a score out on them.
I get that for UGA and UGA alone. But every other game, it's like there's no reason. Yeah,
but I mean, I will defend Key on this one. If my defense was 132nd in the country, I wasn't putting them out there first.
Yeah, just to be down.
I'm putting my top 20 offense out there.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I mean, look, there's no way Key, he defends his defense, all right? But there's no way he thinks that defense is any good. There's no way.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, but it puts us. We're always in these close games, and it puts us in such a bad spot in the second half when we got a crappy defense. Well, now we got to roll it out coming out of the second half. It's like,
Yeah, but do you want to be behind 7-0 every game?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess not.
I mean, how
But
many games did we come out ahead?
Our offense has come out.
Bowling Green, we were up 14-0 and decided just to shit the bed the rest of the day.
Hey, we agreed no more Bowling Green talk. Okay.
Damn. Yeah. I need therapy after this season because
I don't know. Maybe there's no good answer when you have a terrible defense like we.
I renewed my season tickets and made a donation, but I really ought to write bat and say you've got to pay for my mental health based on that game.
Yes. Anyways, I said we had half of special teams. I give them a 50 because I just think they were just a 0 in like coverage, and then I'll give them credit for the field goal kicking and not turning the ball over once every game by getting a block punt. So that brings us to a 33. I think that's a point better than we had them. Yeah, we had them at we had them at a 52 at midseason. So now they're 27 points worse, I guess. Man, so
yeah, but we just finished watching special teams shit the bed the last 4 games.
Yeah,
they didn't do anything positive.
It killed us in the Georgia game too.
Yep. Yeah. They were able to flip field position every time we had to trot our special teams down to give them the ball back. So, all right. It looks like our offense, again, is an 80. Defense is a 52. Special teams, 33 and a third. But who's counting? All right, let's go on to these coaches. Head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, and AD. And then on the right side of your screen, I'll put the totals in. I'll update the totals that I have now. I want to save Brent Key for last. Let's start with the OC. What do you think about Buster Tantor?
The games that I liked him, man, I liked him. And I'm kind of shocked that we haven't heard his name associated with many head coaching jobs yet. Because when he put together that UGA game plan was freaking brilliant.
Yeah. Yep.
And the perfect game plan was against UVA. Of course, UVA sucks. But his UVA game plan was brilliant. UNC was incredible.
Yeah.
So he's had some game plans that are complete freaking Sistine Chapel Michelangelo shit. And then he's had, we said we wouldn't talk about that anymore, but he's had some that are trash.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, why don't you ever go back to some of these plays that were killing them on at the beginning of the game? They didn't fix it. They're not playing anybody over the top. They're trying to take away our running attack. Why are you out there running it like a damn scrimmage? So, I gave him an 80, and I really want to give him a 90 or a 95 because I think he developed a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a great running attack. He was able to change his plays to fit our offensive line on what they can do. So I thought he's done a really good job. But then I turn around and say, damn, man, we lost 3 or 4 games that we should have walked away with because of his stupid game plan that he just crapped with it.
Yeah. All right. So you got him at an 80.
Yeah.
All right. Cdogg.
I'm a little higher. I give him a 90. I think that he was handed a turd sandwich, and he freaking made it taste good this year. He made it into like a chicken sandwich. So I'm like, I'm happy with the offense the way it is. It's a work in progress for sure. And but that kind of turnaround is impressive to me. So I'm stoked on Buster Faulkner. A lot of people saying that he's gonna like leave, which that would suck because he's a good coach. I like him. I like what he's done with the offense, and
I hope he doesn't leave for one of those mid-tier jobs Don't
Yeah.
take one of those damn mid-tier jobs. Hold out. You've got King for another year.
Yeah.
Let him put up top 10 stats,
Yeah.
and then take a Power 5 job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was talking with Cdogg beforehand. I said the same thing.
Yeah.
So you gave him a 90. Okay. I think there's a reason Buster's in the running for like coordinator of the year. You're right. He had some really good game plans against some pretty good teams. I think he got the most out of the offense this year.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the offensive line, something Tantor brought up earlier. I think his hands in it and calling plays and blocking schemes that he feels like the offensive line could execute. I'll take an aside to talk about Chris Winkie. I think Chris Winkie should be another one that's in. I mean, this is coordinator of the year. I don't think there's a better quarterback coach than Chris Winkie. I think him in conjunction with Buster Faulkner is a nasty coaching combination here at Tech. The kind of in year one, aside from just having like the best offense in the country or something, or best defense or whatever is applicable, 88 is the highest grade I would give someone in year one. I give him an 84. I ding him a little bit for a lot of outside screens that we were just hell bent on throwing and stuff like that. But I give him an 84, and that brings our grade to an 85 for Buster, which is probably fair. So let me update that. Where's my OC? There's my OC. 85. All right. Not so nice. I have a feeling this will be the lowest grade ever given on the show.
Yeah.
Talk about the DCs, Tantor. So we'll I guess you can talk about Thacker and Scherer and whatever.
Thacker sucked. That's obvious. He was horrible. I think he tried. He did. He had multiple defenses, ran multiple schemes. The thing is, they couldn't execute any of them. And when you can't do anything right, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's working with the most talent in the world, but I just think that Thacker didn't know what in the hell he was doing. And I don't know if any of those coaches on defense ever watch any film, because I don't know why 13's even on the field. And that is a complete lack of, well, it's basically coaching malpractice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gave, and then you replace, and as I said earlier, so you fire Thacker deservedly. No, you don't fire Thacker.
You demote him.
Right. You demoted him and put him as your safeties coach. Like they did any better with him at safeties? No, I think they actually performed worse after he became the safeties coach. So you took the worst unit on the whole freaking team, the linebackers unit, and you made that coach your defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I have no idea how that makes sense or how that makes you better. Did I see any improvement in the defense? No. What I did see was that the defense became opportunistic. They focused on getting turnovers. And after Scherer got in there, the defense started getting more turnovers. And I think we might have finished in the positive with turnovers. I mean, our offense turned the ball over pretty good, but the defense was getting it back.
Yeah, we had like a 0.13 turnover margin positive.
Yeah. So that was an improvement, but nothing else really improved. They started tackling a little bit better, but, you know, a tackle 13 yards down the field, how did that really help?
Yeah, that's true.
It's still first down. I mean, I'll never forget the 3rd and 18 and their quarterback runs on a called quarterback draw and runs for 22.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Syracuse without a quarterback in the freaking game running for over 250 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And they're tight end throwing screen passes. Hello, he can't throw the ball more than 10 freaking yards down the field. Walk people up, you dumbass. Nope. So I think both defensive coordinators were completely, totally, 100% incompetent. I think they put their players in disadvantaged positions. I think they were an embarrassment to football in general and made me sick to even watch what they put out on the field. So I give both defensive coordinators a combined score of 0.
Dang.
Damn.
I mean, can anybody
Jeez.
say anything positive? I mean, say something positive on what you liked on what they did. I can't think of one. I mean, did you love that great pass rush this year?
No.
No.
Did you like that soft zone defense that gave up 15-yard ins and outs all game long?
No.
Did you like the tackling?
I don't want to
Did
play
you like
anymore.
Did you like the 250 yards a game against the rush that they did against us? Every team, including South Carolina State, that is not even, well, they are D1, but they're D1 FCS. It's just Georgia ran all over us.
Yeah.
And that should not have happened at all. I mean, for God's sake, man, put in another linebacker. I mean, Georgia would line up and laugh and go, okay, we're running 2 tight ends and a running back against your 4 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers, and we're just going to run it down your freaking throat.
Well, not to forget, Carson Beck converted like a 3rd and 12 with his legs,
He did.
which is not good.
So I can't think of one real positive. Now, again, every once in a while, a kid would make an incredible individual play to pull out a game. Eford with a big interception against UNC. Moala with a fumble. I mean, my God, 13 actually made a play against Miami. That was a miracle play. So we did have some individual efforts that saved some games for us, but they weren't helped by any coaching, that's for sure.
All right, so the lowest grade possible, a 0. So a grade a lot of Georgia fans are probably used to. Cdogg, what would you give these coordinators?
Ooh, I don't see how you give them anything other than, I mean, it's, you know, it was a complete disaster at every turn this year. So I don't know. I don't see how you give them anything more than like a 15. I don't know.
A 15.
Yeah, I don't know about 0. I feel like you have to be like transcendently bad to get a 0, right?
And 132nd against the run.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Think about it. We could have played with 10 and done better than that.
I'm thinking of like,
and we did. We tried.
I'm thinking
we
of like,
tried to play defense with 10 players multiple times.
I'm thinking of like Deion Sanders, where he like fired his offensive coordinator and then threw it
demoted
90%. Yeah, demoted, and then threw it 90% of the time again the next week. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so you give him a 15. Tantor gives him a 0. Yeah, I feel like to get a 0 from me, you also have to be doing some off-the-field nonsense, or I have to pay you out the largest buyout in the history of college football. So Jimbo would get a 0 if I was grading him as a head coach of A&M. I mean, $76 million equals 0 when I'm grading you as a head coach. Collins probably get a 0 too. We never graded Collins, but he would get a 0. What?
Talk about bad things that ever happened.
Well, I said Bowling Green.
Listen, if you don't study your history, then you're doomed to repeat it, right?
Yeah, I will say this. I don't like the decision still to demote Thacker. I don't think it really made any difference whatsoever. And now we're going to move on from both of these DCs, I'm certain of. And you've put Scherer in kind of an impossible position now because he wasn't hired to be your like main guy on defense. I think he was more hired for recruiting. And you're right. I mean, he was a linebackers coach. They were absolutely awful. I'll give him a 25. That's probably about the lowest grade that I would ever give anyone. 25, you're pretty much the worst defense in the country. That brings the average, again, to 33 and a third. What were we even grading? DCs. A lot of 33s being given out tonight. All right, let's keep it moving to some more shit turds. Special teams coordinator, Tantor.
It's just slightly better than the DC.
Oh, I'm sorry, not 33 and a third. What am I? That's not even possible. We didn't even have a grade above a 25. That's a 13 and a third.
That's better. 13 and a third.
Mola's number is our defensive grade.
That fits.
Oh my god,
That's awesome.
Irony. All right, special teams.
coach.
Okay. They got the field goal kicker right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's break. I broke special teams down to field goal kicking, punting, punt receiving, kick receiving, kickoff coverage. So that's 5 phases of the game, right? Of special teams. We got one right. Just one.
That's a 20.
That's a 20.
I know math, baby. Let's go.
So that's how I graded it, because I hate to say this, it's not successful if all you're doing on punt returns and kickoff returns is fair catching the ball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a success. We both know that we never covered punts or kickoffs, and those are zeros. They got zeros for both of those.
Yeah.
So, you could probably. All right, so I'll give them credit for not turning the ball over on kickoff returns and not turning the ball over for punt returns. I'll give them 2.5 points for each one of those, and then 20 points for being able to make a field goal. So that gives them a 25.
All right, a 25. Cdogg.
I give him. Now he did have to take over a really bad special teams, like a hopeless special teams. He improved it somewhat.
Well, that everybody that came in this year after Coach Collins had to take over something that was shit god awful, dude.
Not
true.
Thacker. He had a good defense last year.
Well, he had good players.
Yeah, that's true. It's much better than it was last year. Last year, like you said, would have been a 0 this year.
Yeah, definitely. Last year's special teams was a 0.
This year, I gave the special teams a 25.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll go with that for special teams. Got to get better.
25. So you and Tantor at a 25.
Yes. I'm tired of special teams ruining everything. Okay.
I think they could really improve special teams. They need a dog to run out on the field and get the tee and bring it off. That right there alone would add 10 points to the special teams' performance.
Yeah, like a little Lassie dog or something.
Yes,
that'd be cute.
I agree.
I give him a 30. Not the lowest grade that I ever give. That'd be a 25. But yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't think we coached it well at all. Shanahan was improved with just how much time it took him to get a punt off, but probably 1 out of every 5 punts was good with him. The other 4 were not very good. We were never – I'm trying to think. Maybe 3 times this entire season we flipped field position with special teams. If that, I can't – don't ask me to tell you which ones they were because –
I can't tell you what they did positive as far as that goes all season.
Yeah, not good. So that's gives us a 27.
I mean, the best thing they ever did was leave Eifert and Dylan Leonard on special teams because those 2 kids would run down the field and try to make a play.
Yeah. All right. Before we get on to Key, let's talk about Jay Batt, the job he's done in year 1, Tantor.
All right, are we putting basketball in there because they're damn near unwatchable?
No, we're just talking about football.
Well, I like the whole North Avenue thing that they've got going on. They've added something to that, atmosphere of coming to the game. So, we're all there to watch us win, but what he's done as far as the game day experience, I kind of like.
Yeah.
Even though, some of the stuff I'm not really into, but really and truly, I like it. I mean, it's not bad. I wish they would improve the cops over on 10th Avenue directing traffic. I
Oh
was
God.
having to sit in the parking deck for an hour last Saturday and not move at all because I've got a dumbass cop out there never letting out the deck. But that's just my personal problem there where I parked. But they've done a good job that way. I don't know with this Thacker thing. I've got this conspiracy theory that instead of firing Thacker, Jay Batt wouldn't give Key money to fire him and buy his rest of his contract out and hire a replacement. And that's just me being a contrarian with that. So I don't really like that aspect of it. I know that Key was not the first hire on the chart there for Bat. I do think he's the right guy for the job. But I can't. I mean, Bat's raising money. They take my phone calls when I aggravate them. They won't answer any questions except give them money, give them money, and I did. I renewed my tickets. I gave them money.
Yeah.
I donated to the scholarship fund. I've got my tickets for next season. And they seem to be really efficient. So that's good. The one thing I hate, and I don't think he's got any control over whatsoever, I hate seeing all those damn black and red in our freaking stadium on our game.
Yeah.
And that shit's got to stop.
That was bad. Now, I will say about that, the Tech fans that were there were loud, just as loud as the Georgia fans.
We tried.
I mean, Georgia fans, I think they're a little bit inflated too because they have a 1,000 annoying chants that they do every game.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like, we don't really have their band played after every play.
They did, and they played while our offense was on the field and they didn't stop.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be a penalty. You can't play when you go to the line of scrimmage. You're supposed to stop.
And I think by the time
that's a 15-yard penalty. That's unsportsmanlike conduct.
I think by the time that the game was over, we were all louder than they were. I don't think they like what they saw on the field, and we ran
There's
a
the
lot
refs.
of them.
Cdogg, unless you didn't know that, it was the refs.
Yeah, we ran a lot of them. We ran a lot of them off, and so I was happy with that because usually it's just very sad, It's
I was thinking, okay, J Bat especially with the south end zone, open that up to students.
Yeah,
pack that full of students.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get some more students in there at least until we can start selling some tickets. I'm really happy that the Georgia fans donated to our school. That's really helpful for us. But it just disgusts me. So, I have to deduct for him on that one. I give him a 75.
All right.
Okay.
75 from Tantor. What do you got, Cdogg?
I don't know about that. I give him probably an 85. I think I just like a lot of what he's done. So, I got to give it to I got to give him probably an 85. So, just saying.
Yeah, I'm way higher on Bat. I think he's done some things that he had to do that weren't popular. The Hyundai naming thing was one of them. I think that was a requirement.
I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay.
Yeah,
with
me too. The competitive drive is a success the first time, and it seems like the second time's going well too.
Yeah, and a lot of Tech fans are kind of older. They didn't like that, but I think he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He hired the right head coach, even if it wasn't his first choice. He started an NIL program we didn't have before he got here.
I give him credit for that. 100 on that one.
Yeah, and I think he's doing everything he can to get that going. And I think, look, we don't see what happens behind the scenes. I think that that's going to save some players transferring this year. Him getting that going and rolling is going to probably keep Singleton from transferring, and possibly some others. And if he did not give, taking you kind of what you said at face value, if he didn't allow him to pay out Thacker's buyout, could be a smart thing. It's kind of like when you're at a job and they don't want to fire you and they force you to quit. It's dirty, but if that's what we need to do, then that's what we need to do. I give him an 88, which, like I said, is the highest grade I can give someone in year one. I think he's doing a really good job. So that brings us to an 82 for AD. Let's talk about the man at the helm, Brent Key. What do you think, Tantor?
I give him all the credit in the world for the first time in 5 years, taking this sack of shit 3-win football team to a bowl game and making us competitive against those bastards from South Carolina, Athens, South Carolina.
Yep.
So I said it. I like what he did with his seniors. I like, it's old coach speak. I like that he defends the players. If coach asked me if I want to go to press conference, no, because I'm going to piss off Key. He's going to yell and scream at me and get me kicked out of the school. I mean, I can tell you how that's going to happen, because Key's going to defend his players, and I'm just going to come back with a smart ass remark on it. And Key's a big dude. He'll whip my ass.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All of us.
He ain't little. So he's not a guy you want to piss off either, because I think he would throw down too.
Yeah.
So I got all the respect in the world for him. I like how he coaches. I like how he's built an offensive line. I like how he's recruiting offensive linemen. Everything I'm reading about that is that he's doing it on both sides of the ball. Now we don't have the success on the defense right now, but I like what he's doing. I really do. Now he makes mistakes, and we've called him out on it, but he's making less as the season progresses. And I keep remembering this dude's. I have actually been a head coach at different levels more than Coach Key has, and that's freaking sad.
Yeah.
Because he's been a head coach for 12. Well, how many games last year? 8. He's been a head coach for 20 games. All right, and we got to remember that. I give him an 85. I think he's done a hell of a job. Yeah. Now, I've called him out on his stupid bonehead mistakes earlier in the season, but he's getting better. Every game we see him get better, and I fully expect him to progress next year too. I fully expect to be 7-5, 8-4 next year, and we need to beat Georgia soon.
Yeah. All right, an 85 from Tantor. Cdogg, talk about the main man.
I'm thinking maybe. Yeah, I think about a 90. I think he's done a great job. I freaking love Coach Key. He's turned the shit around. He's got us respectable. Got us to a bowl game. Done a lot of things right. Put together a killer staff. Now
I'll disagree with you on that. He's not put together a killer staff.
Well, on the offensive side of the ball,
yes. On defense, we just rated them, dude, and they're pieces of shit on defense.
Okay, well, on defense, I know it wasn't good this year. I think bringing back Marco Coleman was I
think that's huge, even though the defensive line underperformed.
And at the time, I thought retaining Andrew Thacker was the right thing too. So,
maybe we should have paid more money and got Ely and Thomas and them to stay.
Yeah, I thought they were out of eligibility.
Bo Nix is still freaking playing, dude. He's got 6 or 7 years. Come on, we got to be able to find a way to keep the kid.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But no, I do like his staff, and not only his staff, but their evaluations, dude. To have 2 true freshman All-Americans on your offense, incredible. And then, he found those guys with literally 1 month until signing day, from the time he was hired until signing day. and he was also building a staff at the same time. So the fact that he was able to do that, it blows my mind. And also, not only that, but like a lot of the guys you see them recruit, that like throughout the year, throughout their playing time, they got more people, more eyes on them. The guys that they had offered and had committed had their star ranking raised. I think it was like 3 guys. So that's a really good sign that you're hitting. I'm super impressed with the evaluations on the staff, and very encouraged by that. Even if it's not all the star ratings or everything, you know what I mean? So yeah, a 90. I think I gave him. Freaking, he's kicking ass, and yeah. But Tantor is right. Like, this year should be considered a bad year at Georgia Tech.
Mhm.
Bowl game should be the bare minimum floor
Yep.
at Georgia Tech. We should not be missing bowls. We're not Vanderbilt.
No.
We don't miss bowls. We had one of the longest bowl game streaks in the country until recently. That should be an anomaly. It should be just not something that happens. So, I do expect improvement, and this score could lower by the time we're sitting here next year. So who knows?
Yeah.
But as for the job he's done right now, and talking about taking over a turd, yeah, I'm happy with him. I freaking love Key. He's a freaking man. So I give him a 90.
So 85 from Tantor and 90 from Cdogg. He took over probably one of the toughest situations in football as the interim. I know we're not talking about last year, but I think he did as well as you could possibly expect from an interim coach. He did put together, respectable class last year. I know, they were like 60th, but as far as look at the players that contributed from that class, Cdogg and I talked about, and Tantor, you might know, do they reevaluate recruiting classes like they do draft classes like 3 years after the fact? Because I think Tech probably would look pretty good in that.
Most people don't. You don't see that. It's generally considered a success if you have more than 25% of your recruits graduate.
Okay.
Still in the program, because you get a lot of kids, they transfer out, they quit, they get injured, their careers are over. Literally, you're lucky to have, if you recruit 24 guys, if you get 7 or 8 graduate, you did a great job.
Yeah, I think that would be way more useful to see than just what their star rating was when they were signed. Like, what did they end up being for you?
What's interesting, I was the transfer portal site, like 3 on or whatever it is, on 3.
Yeah, on 3.
On 3.
On 3, yeah. Because they will rank the transfers going out, and they will have the original high school recruit stars, and then they'll have the transfer stars when they're going out. So that's always interesting to see how they've progressed or fallen off in a year or two.
Yeah, so let's not forget Key was an elite recruiter at other places. I think that's going to pay dividends for us. Mm-hmm. You're right. On the offensive side of the ball, he made a home run hire, I think, in Buster Faulkner.
And that's brave, too, for a Tech guy hiring a Bulldog.
Yeah, and a guy that hadn't been a coordinator in a while.
That's ball.
He's not screwing around either. Like, the guys he did bring over have been productive for us,
Yeah, I think he missed on the special teams hire. I mean, again, we're grading them in year 1. This could all change, as you said. The highest I said I could give a guy in year 1's 88. I give him an 84, so I'm actually the lowest on the panel. I really don't like the demotion. That really is sour taste in my mouth. Even if he was not given the money to buy him out, then I just wouldn't have made a move.
He's a no bullshit guy.
He is.
I've talked to him one time, 1-sentence conversation. He is not a guy that's going to sit there and chit-chat, nicey nice, best buds there on the staff, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm going to take care of you, whatever. Hey, that ain't him. It's not him at all. He's a no bullshit kind of guy. So,
and I like that about him. Like, how he feels is how he's going to say. And if he don't feel like saying what he really thinks, he'll say, I'm not answering that or whatever.
Yeah. So I just can't believe that he was just going to demote Thacker. I saw him in that game. He grabbed Thacker's freaking whiteboard clipboard deal and threw it at him.
Yeah.
Thacker got fired right then, right there.
And he grabbed his headset while he was talking to him. He had his headset shaking it when he was
that
on mute.
man was pissed because everybody had left that game. I had walked down there behind him in the section. He was pissed.
Yeah.
Good. It seems like a lot of the times he's the only one acting like that.
Right.
Good.
And I think losing hurts for him.
That will start to permeate to the team, and we'll get guys that
Eventually
feel the same way.
Yeah,
We got to get this
eventually.
loser mentality out, and we
So,
got to get it.
Based on that sideline deal, there's no way ever I can believe that he was just going to talk to Thacker and demote him and keep him on the staff. No, Thacker got fired in the third quarter of the game we don't talk about.
Right.
Yeah, and that makes a ton of sense to me. So that gives Key an 86. Our coaches, as a collective, a 68, which I think is fair because half of our coaches that we've rated have not done well at all. Defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator. And I was going to weight special teams different, but I think you're right. I mean, that probably lost us some games. Just not been able to flip field position and getting field position flipped on us. So, before I reveal the team grade, what would you have rated our team on 0 to 100? Just if you were asked, like, what would you rate Georgia Tech? Tantor.
Now or before the season?
Now.
Well, right now we're 6-6. That's a C. So I would have to put us square at 73, 74.
All right. Cdogg.
Yeah, I'd say probably 70.
And I would have put us in a 72. If you just average all these with the weights that I have, it puts us at a 58. And that has to do with, like, I think we're a little better than that, but when your special teams are this bad and your defense is this bad,
Yes,
I get it. And I kind of don't – I could see us being a 65. That with all of this in mind, I could see that. But I also think 58 is fair. When you just can't stop the run – I mean, that Milton for Georgia had not played super well for them all year. He had a career day against Tech, and they were excited about it, and they should be excited about it. But keep in mind – this is the worst rush defense in the country. So, yeah, I do see in the chat asking about Kennard. Kennard hurts. He was our most effective pass rusher. From what I've seen, I'm sure Tantor, you and Cdogg have seen, I haven't seen us offer a kid that wasn't a linebacker or defensive lineman right now out of the portal. So, I mean, they're looking to change that. For sure.
There's some kid though that they're listing an interior offensive lineman from Middle Tennessee State.
That's right.
They're listing is coming here.
Yeah.
But they're looking to, fix the trenches, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got to fix that defensive line should be the number one priority in the portal. You need another good interior defensive lineman, and you need to hit on a pass rusher. A guy that can come in and get some pressure on the quarterback.
See, you can generate pass rush without having a superstar defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be creative doing it.
Well, we need a DC too. So priority number one, I guess, find a DC that knows how to do this.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have any DC candidates on your mind, Tantor?
These DC guys, they end up becoming head coaches and keeping their job. I want a guy off of the Nick Saban tree. And I'm going to go and I'm going to hire somebody that he has had as a DC and then or a position coach. I'll take one of his position coaches.
Probably have to be a position coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to steal direct from his staff, yes. But he's got a lot of coaches that have worked for him on the defensive side, and then they're now head coaches out there.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. I would just go track down his players and his old DCs and his old position coaches, and that's where I would go. I would aim at the Nick Saban because Nick Saban knows freaking defense.
Yeah.
Now he recruits his balls off, but he knows defenses.
Yeah.
So that's what I would be looking at right there is a Nick Saban protege, so to speak.
Yeah. I would like whoever their linebackers coach is. We'll take him.
God.
I don't even know who it is.
I don't either. But they always have some ball breakers and linebackers.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't know. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. Like, as far as knowing other DCs or position coaches, I don't know. All I know is what happened last year on defense needs to remain in history forever. I've never seen a defense like
you could go to Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
Pull up their linebacker or defensive backs coach because, damn, that defense is solid.
Oh,
that
yeah.
offense is completely stillborn. But the defense, man, they know what they're doing.
Damn.
Oh man, do you have a prediction on the Big Ten championship game there?
What is it, a 34-point line, 34 and a half?
The last I saw was 24.5.
Okay.
And the over-under is 34.
And you're going under.
I bet under 34.
Yeah, Michigan has a really good defense, but so does Iowa, and Iowa has no offense. So
Iowa's defense is fantastic, but they don't have an offense at all. And Harbaugh is perfectly okay with beating you 17-0, 20-0 by just handing the ball off. If he'll run on you 70 times a game, he doesn't care.
Yeah, Buzzthought with the $5 says, I don't think he missed on any staff except special teams. Retained Thacker. Hired Scher to be linebacker coach, no expectation to be DC. I say his hires are a B+ or an A-. Yeah, no one really saw Thacker being as bad as he was probably going to be this year, but no one saw the defense being as bad as they were either. Speaking of, Oregon mounting a comeback, 20-17 right now.
I got the under in that game.
What are you on your bets this year?
All right, until I hit a parlay, which parlays are stupid. Everybody listening out there, never bet parlay. It's sucker bet.
I've told them.
We do a bit, the Tantor KOD, the Kiss of Death parlay. That's guaranteed to lose. And I got pissed off, and I let my son pick them. And the freaking idiot hits a 14 parlay.
Wow.
And we win hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So we decided to place bets on every game this weekend.
Oh, wow.
So we've got bets on the winner, and we have over-under for this weekend. So we're just going to blow it all because I couldn't get out to Vegas this weekend. So we just decided to blow it all and just go with it.
So where's your money in the SEC title game? The winner and the under-over?
Well, when I was in Vegas in the spring, I decided to curse Georgia, and I put 100 on Georgia winning the Natty because I knew that would curse them.
Hedge your bets.
With me I will pay $100 for Georgia not to win the national title, and that's the way I look at it.
I'd pay more than that.
Yeah, probably me too. So I hate those bastards that much.
I hate them too, man.
There's no way they're going to win, but I've got Alabama in the points. And then I've got the under because I really was not impressed with Georgia, and I wasn't impressed with Alabama.
What's the over-under on that game? What are you taking under on?
I think it's like 55, 54, 55, something like that. I have to look at my slip.
That's a tough one to call. You could make a good argument for the under or over in that game.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it is. It's, the odds makers, that's what they do. So I'm looking at my slips.
Well,
it's at 55.5.
Okay. So you got them under 55.5. I could see that.
I took them over 55.5. Holy shit. I thought I put an under on that one. Okay.
Well, we're coming up on 10:30. I will tell you guys this: WreckTalk is 100% on his bets. I've only ever made
Yeah, y'all were
one.
talking about that last week. That's
I'm
awesome.
4-0, baby. I'm 4-0 this year, man. Those idiots on the ACC show got owned by Cdogg.
Well, first of all, Vegas had us over under 4.5 wins. We gave them a win and a half over that.
Yeah, I
And
made a
still
bad
won.
bet. I made a bad bet and still beat them. So
Vegas is paying me on that one. Actually, that one I made it in Biloxi. So the Bow in Biloxi is going to be paying me on that one. And then they're going to be paying me for adding another win onto that. So I got a couple on that one. And I won a few on Georgia Tech this year.
We should thank Jeff Collins for that, because had he not driven the program into the ground and expectations so low, we wouldn't have got a 4.5 over under win total.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I did really well on Georgia Tech this season. And matter of fact, it's paying for my season tickets next year for 2024. So I'm thrilled.
Nice. Well, all right. This is, guys, Tantor. If you haven't seen Tantor, he's on Coach and Crew show. When do y'all do shows? I'm putting your channel in the chat now.
Coach does his, specialty shows on his teams that he follows. I do my Georgia Tech ones. We try to release a video once a week or so for Georgia Tech. But we do a national show on Saturday. I mean, not on Saturday. Shit. On Monday nights at 7 o'clock, we do a national show. I get a total of one segment, and my segment, I'm pushing every show to be WWE. So if you're a WWE wrestling fan, you have to wait for the end for Tantor's segment where he actually gets to talk about professional wrestling.
By the way, the hell with the WWE. They are the most tenacious copyright on YouTube.
Yes, they are.
I was looking to the midterm show. It was blocked because I played the Steve Austin's intro music when you came in. Just a few seconds, they completely had the video taken down. It's back up now. I cut it out. But, God, I hate the WWE. Like, I like wrestling, but they're a asshole company.
I've been banned. I am currently banned in Russia. Well, that was...
What?
I made some comments about Putin. In any country that ends with a stan, I've been banned there. And banned in Iran, India, Pakistan, Yemen. I'm banned in Yemen.
Oh, no.
What about
Egypt,
Oman?
Morocco, Libya, Ethiopia. Not allowed there anymore either.
Free Tantor, man.
So
Free Tantor.
Turkey. I'm not allowed Turkey either.
Damn.
So I've pretty much worn out my Myanmar. I'm not allowed Myanmar either.
I never even heard of that.
So
Jeez.
You've been banned in countries I didn't even know existed.
yeah, they send us notes about
Wow.
how we're offensive or copyright law. I'm like,
That's
how's
crazy.
that copyright law? And there's nothing in there that I can shit
Eastern
you people.
Europeans, man.
But
Eastern Europeans.
I have insulted the Ayatollah. I've insulted Putin. I've made some comments about the royal house at Saudi Arabia during the Royal Rumble. So that kind of killed me over there.
Oh my god.
The Houthis in Yemen.
Tantor's
I'm not a
the
big fan of them.
ultimate heel. Everyone hates you. You're an effective heel.
I am a heel. I grew up a heel. My water bottle is Vader.
He was a heel.
I think the rebels were a bunch of freaking terrorists. They should have been dealt with thoroughly, and they just don't know law and order and what's good for them.
Well, Mayhem Matthews says he wants to know your opinion on the CM Punk return. He says he's a CM Punk mark. I'll tell you this. If you want to know what Tantor thinks about it, you should go subscribe to him. He talks about it on his show. We're not stealing his thunder on here, though. Go sub up him and listen to his live shows for that. So I come on your Monday one, I think. I try and give Coach K as much shit as I possibly can. And
dear God, dude, he's buttoned up. You got to. He's got the two. I don't want to let out too much of him, but his brother played football for Auburn.
That doesn't surprise me.
And then his other brother is the coolest dude on the planet that had a TV show and had a rock band and everything else. So he's got two brothers that are absolutely incredible. And I tried to hang with them partying one time in Buckhead back in the day, and they destroyed me. And I'm crawling around. I got the last laugh though. I sent them to that male strip joint on Roswell Road, and they didn't know.
And red turds.
They didn't know that there was dudes there, so I got the last laugh at him. But still, he's got two of the coolest brothers on the planet. But Coach K's pretty straight.
Well, I just can't help but give people crap if I get that impression, and I don't feel like I'm that.
Coach K's Mr. Rogers.
Okay, we have a Mr. Rogers that's a member of the channel. Yeah, he would not answer my twirling wiener car wash question though from Northwestern.
About Northwestern,
but you did make him laugh about the head coach Tugger.
Tugger.
That was
you told him about Mel Tugger.
I had to mute my mic because I was laughing so much about.
Yeah, I that we got that from Touchdown Tim. That's the articles we read, and I was like, you won't talk about the twirling wieners, but you'll say Mel Tugger. So I'm finding his boundaries.
I busted out laughing. I had to mute the mic. I was just like, damn, that was great.
Well, there you go. That's Tantor. I put his info in the chat. Ma'am Matthew.
Help me out here. Coach goes nuts when he realizes that we're almost at 600 subscribers, and a good 400 of them are Tech fans, and that kills him. It absolutely kills him.
Tech fans show up and show out on the.
He's at 586. He's at 586, guys. There's no reason he can't hit that tonight. 14 guys, get him to 600, and
it's Tech guys. And then when I do the pre-show on Monday, and we're going through everything, and I'm going to point out that hey. Tech's over 400 of our subscribers is Tech, so I think Tech deserves more time here.
Yeah.
He'll go freaking nuts, and he'll spend 15 minutes of pre-show bitching at me.
Well, then we're going to come in and just spam Tech Takeover to the next live.
Takeover, baby.
We got to do that.
Tech fans show up and show out on the socials. It's we have a great online presence for sure, which is really cool.
It's really, you mentioned that Cdogg last time, and you're right. It's building up. Tech's a whole lot better. With Coach and Crew, we do things with Auburn and Coastal Carolina, and Tech fans are better than both, quite frankly.
Yeah, they're better than a lot of people I've seen, which is surprising me. When I first got here, I always say this, there was no one.
Nope, none.
Yeah.
There was no one. Things are getting more exciting around here, and more Tech fans are showing up, which I love to see.
Yep. Now we're at 588. Can we get 12 more? I'm like a televangelist.
Help an old man out.
Put a dollar out in the boxer.
Just to nail an Auburn fan. Although I won't give the Coastal Carolina coach's son's a senior, graduating senior at Coastal Carolina. He's on staff there. So, he got to do the whole out on the field thing and all that other stuff. So the kids, slept on my couch a many times. So, we give some love to Coastal because, you had a kid there in the program.
Was he worried we were going to hire their coach?
Yes. But we didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And now we're lucky we didn't hire the coach because their coach is probably going to leave Liberty and go somewhere else because he's already getting offers.
I didn't understand that. Like him going to Liberty, like you figure if you're going to leave Coastal Carolina, you're going, especially with what he's been able to do, you're going to a bigger program.
Yeah.
He's making like 375 at 3.75 at Liberty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't even making $1 million at Coastal.
He was making he was making a few like 700 or 800.
Yeah, it was like 700.
He was the lowest paid coach in FBS.
Yep. And Liberty gave him a boatload of money to hire all of his assistants too.
Yeah.
So he couldn't get that here. Tech couldn't. Tech wanted him, and I think he's a hell of a coach too. But Tech couldn't pay him what Liberty paid him.
3.75. That's
Yep.
concerning.
Plus, well, we had a big buyout too, but
That's true.
plus millions for his staff.
Yeah.
And Tech wasn't going to pay him for his staff, is what I heard.
I tend to believe that. Well, all right, guys, we'll wrap up the show here. Cdogg, what do you got coming up?
Not a whole lot. Just doing my thing. Just doing my thing, Videos, I'll try to be consistent with them. And yeah.
I heard
I want
that.
to see you down at McCamish wearing a wrestling mask.
Yes.
Doing your thing at McCamish. That'd be great.
Can the Buzzsaw make an appearance to a basketball game?
Geez, I don't know about that.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Maybe,
You tell me when you're going to do it. I'll be down there too.
We'll all go.
Yeah. Oh,
I
my
looked
God.
for you after the Georgia game, but I didn't see you.
I was in my section
Were
103
you?
talking to everybody else.
Really?
Yeah, we
Damn.
were all making the four guys that actually showed up around me and didn't sell their damn tickets, planning on whether or not we were all going to renew our tickets and whether or not we are going to stay in the same section.
Oh.
So,
Well, dang, I didn't see you. I don't know
yeah,
what-
we were there. We were there for quite a while, actually.
Really? Dang.
Well, then we'll all make a trip to McCamish. Guys, tomorrow we're going to be streaming Cdogg and I. He's coming over to Casa de Rec. We'll be streaming these conference championship games, so you come watch the games with us if you'd like. We would appreciate it. It'll be a ton of fun.
Yep.
And we're now at 589. Before I go to bed, I want to see 600.
Come on, guys, help us out.
I want to see it. But that'll be the show. Tantor, thank you so much. I mean, we were on here
thanks, guys,
for
for having
2
me on.
hours.
It's always a blast. I love it. It allows me to not have the parameters that I have with my national show that I have to abide by.
You take we got Tantor Unleashed.
Tantor After Dark.
We're taking Unleashed.
I don't think anybody from the College Football Writers Association is going to come down on me for saying what I say here on a local one.
Yeah.
On the national one, I could probably get in some trouble, and I really don't want to lose my national voting rights because I dig that shit. I really do. Voting on the players for who gets the national trophies, because I have a vote on everything but Heisman.
How the hell do you get? How the hell do you even get that? I don't.
Well, we joined the. It was about 5 years ago when we were just writing articles, trying to get them published by the AP. On a website, and doing podcasts, nothing on YouTube. We joined the College Football Writers Association.
Wow.
And you have to, publish articles and stuff like that. So we were doing it, but it was only on a website, it was read by 5 people.
Yeah.
And we would submit stuff to the AP and they might approve it and somebody might pick it up, but it takes so long for their approval process. It might be 2 weeks later. So it can only be fluff pieces and shit like that. So it just goes to show you how easy it is to get in because they allowed me in.
I think we're going to have that the like highest level of approval or trophy. Tantor, I dig that shit.
But voting on national teams, the Lombardi Trophy, the Groves, that sort of stuff. I like it. Coach and I, we battled on how Coach and Crew Show was going to give our national award. Who our vote was going to go to for the national awards for the Lombardi Trophy. And it took a while, and we hammered it out, but we voted for, and it's all, they publish who votes for what, but we voted for the kid from UCLA for Lombardi Trophy. That kid was a beast. But, we were talking about him, Ellis from Utah, and Alt from Notre Dame that were just killers there on offensive and defensive line. But we decided that I think Latu, I think his name is, from UCLA should get that award. But just stuff like that. And we take it uber seriously. We don't mail those freaking votes in.
Right.
And,
like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You're one of few.
So we do take it seriously, and when Coach does his homer bullshit and gives an Auburn player a vote, I give him shit about it.
Their kicker.
I gave him shit about it. I voted for the guy that made the finalist. I voted for the Miami of Ohio dude. But I give him shit about that. I was like, dude, you can't do that crap.
Yeah, if that's okay, then we're voting Haynes King Heisman. I mean,
correct. I mean, well, I don't have a Heisman vote. That's different. But for the quarterback,
Davey O'Brien or whatever it is.
I voted for
Penix. Well, Penix is the truth, though.
So, and I think a lot of guys are really good, but I think Haynes King's a great quarterback. But I have a responsibility to not just vote for some guy because he goes to my school. I got to vote for the best player. I even voted for 2 Bulldogs this year, and it made me freaking sick and want to throw up. But I thought they were the best players. Well, I thought Bowers was the best tight end in the country, and I thought the best coach was Kirby Smart. The dude hadn't lost in 3 years. And
I'm literally incapable of that. I would never, ever do that.
Look, Kirby Smart was brilliant against us. Anybody else coaching that Bulldog team, they lose. Yeah. I mean, Kirby Smart, he got every call from the officials. He had them wrapped around his finger. He had everything down. He called the timeouts in the right spot. He worked the clock. He worked the officials. He worked the game. Kirby Smart is brilliant. And I hate saying every single stinking freaking word of that, and it makes me sick, and I probably won't be able to sleep tonight because of it.
Man.
But he hasn't lost this year, and he is a great coach. I mean, and I voted for him, and that makes me sick. It makes me ill. I want Brett Key to come out and kick his ass, so I can't vote for Kirby Smart anymore.
That's funny.
That's fair. Well, all right, guys. Now we're at about 10:41. I appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. It's always a ton of fun when we have to have. What's the name for this trio? We need like a name for when we all get on the show.
Now look, I love Bryce Coon. Okay, we came up. Somebody came up with the coolest name ever. Okay, for us three, but we don't collaborate all that much, right?
No, we hardly ever.
So the triple option is still a freaking amazing name.
All right,
that's a cool name.
The triple option. All right.
Which I'm not saying, maybe it's just whenever 3 tech guys get together and talk about stuff. I'm not excluding Bryce or anything. But
okay, this will be the triple option with honors. The highest. That's what this is.
Yeah. We are all right. You know what? We're declaring war on Bryce Coon.
Oh man. Well, all right.